Last year's Congress here in Ottawa at the University of Ottawa was a huge success. So many people from across the country and across disciplines converged here that it was like a fountain of ideas bursting inside that beautiful glass kaleidoscope above me. Et cette année promet d'être encore plus inspirante avec la célébration de cette étape historique qu'est le 75e anniversaire de la Fédération. In a young nation, before the outbreak of the Second World War, Canadian academia was beginning to discover its voice. Early council pioneers like Harold Innis, John Robbins, R.G. Trotter, and R.H. Coates explored the idea of creating a body to support social science research, which was at that time unfunded by the federal government. They found early support from places like the American Rockefeller Foundation. This allowed research grants, along with support to journals and scholarly books, to grow, notably through the commencement of aid to scholarly publications grants. Alors, au moment même où l'Allemagne et le Japon faisaient la guerre, le Premier ministre Mackenzie King déclarait que pour toute la durée du conflit, l'éducation devait se limiter pour l'essentiel à ceux qui réclamaient l'effort de guerre. Cette décision a contribué à la création du Conseil canadien de recherches en sciences sociales, fondé pour défendre officiellement l'éducation dans les arts libéraux. Son premier président fut R.G. Trotter. Soon, members of the humanities felt they too needed a permanent body to speak for them, and so founded the Humanities Research Council of Canada. They ensured research and discussion of important emerging ideas at the time, such as the social credit movement, Aboriginal issues, or the role of the resources and geography of Canada's north. As the post-war 1950s dawned, hard work started to pay off, and Canadian greats started to shine. Preeminent philosopher George Grant joined the council. Literary lion Northrop Frye joined the HRCC's Aid to Publications Committee shortly after publishing his first major book. And media theorist Marshall McLuhan, who worked in this little building at the University of Toronto from 1967 to 1980, received his first Council research grant. So the councils were instrumental in amplifying the voices of Canada's intellectual giants. Les deux conseils étaient au bord de la ruine financière. Cet état précaire s'est poursuivi jusqu'à ce que la fondation américaine Rockefeller vienne encore une fois à notre rescousse en nous accordant une subvention de la 11e heure qui a maintenu à flot les deux organismes au moment où cessaient les autres aides. With Canadian humanities research in jeopardy, the federal government eventually kicked into gear, founding the Canada Council in 1957, just as the American Foundation grants permanently dried up. The 60s were a decade of change and growth. Bernard Ostry was a kind of traveling salesman, visiting academics across the country to gauge their work and their confidence. He concluded that more research funding was required to keep up with American and British scholars. His eloquent cry was heard by Prime Minister Lester Pearson, who said for the 20th anniversary of the Humanities Research Council, "We need the humanities more than ever, so that the culture of science will be counseled by the culture of the humanities, for the peaceful benefit and betterment of mankind." En travaillant dans cet esprit, d'autres, comme le père Jean-Henri Lévesque à Laval et James Mallory à McGill, ont promu inlassablement l'érudition au Québec avant et pendant la Révolution tranquille, afin de rendre le CRSSC plus représentatif sur le plan culturel. The 70s heralded the oncoming digital age. The SSRC established the Data Clearinghouse, which used computers to handle large amounts of data, while SOCScan was set up as a database of who was researching what. Meanwhile, the SSRC cooperated closely with the newly formed Statistics Canada and advocated to ensure census data was available to the public and to researchers. While the councils were busy expanding scholarly publishing programs, they still struggled for survival and lobbied hard for the creation of a council dedicated to the humanities and social sciences. The government finally created the Social Science and Humanities Research Council of Canada in 1976. Human rights moved to the fore in the 1980s. The Social Science Fédération of Canada established a task force to study sex bias in research, a project whose time had long since come.
Mais à l'heure où la Fédération des sciences sociales du Canada s'apprêtait à célébrer son 50e anniversaire, ce fut l'horreur. Le 6 décembre 1989, 14 jeunes femmes étaient assassinées par un déséquilibré misogyne à l'École polytechnique de Montréal, en changeant une fois pour toutes la culture universitaire au Canada. Déterminées à garantir l'égalité et la sécurité dans l'enseignement supérieur, les deux fédérations ont adopté rapidement des motions concernant les femmes dans les universités.
Then, the following summer, current events kept both the social sciences and the humanities federations active in the political realm. After the 1990 Oka crisis, a land dispute between Mohawk people and the town of Oka, Quebec, the Social Science Federation of Canada closely monitored the unfolding situation, including government actions and implementation of their commitments.
To increase public and politicians' awareness of the importance of research, both federations began a series called Breakfasts on the Hill, the precursor to today's Big Thinking lectures, which have now expanded well beyond the Hill.
I remember the kids had little autograph books.
Singing and even dancing just to gather their strength.
Over the following 2 decades, many great Canadian minds would share their work with the Canadian public.
In 1996, successful talks between the two federations resulted in their merger, forming a single federation, the Canadian Federation for the Humanities and Social Sciences. Our single federation continues to champion the voice of all the humanities and social sciences and to promote advancements toward an inclusive, democratic, and prosperous society, both within and beyond our borders.
Heading into our 2016 to 2020 strategic plan, the Federation will actively build and nurture relationships with our membership, working with and through them and other like-minded partners, advancing common goals of building an inclusive, democratic, and prosperous society. Our Awards to Scholarly Publications program remains and will continue as one of the cornerstones of the Federation's activities. Every year, the program gives out 180 publication grants and 5 translation grants to Canadian authors and publishers in order to support the dissemination of research across the country. And will continue to support and leverage the impact of members through flagship programs such as Congress, Big Thinking, Canada Prizes, annual conferences, and a variety of national and regional events.
Au cours des 75 dernières années, la Fédération a joué un rôle crucial pour le soutien et l'épanouissement de la vie intellectuelle du Canada. In the next 75 years, we will continue our contributions in building an inclusive and dynamic knowledge society to help shape a brighter future for Canada and the world. Joignez-vous à nous!